Yo, what's up YouTube? Today we're going to be making some Travis Scott themed animations. Utopia came out recently, and after listening to the album quite a few times through, I started to get some ideas with a few certain songs that came on. So we're going to go ahead and make some animations based on a few of the songs that I like. I actually like most of the songs on the album, but there's just a few that stood out to me and that I was able to come up with some ideas for. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and make Travis's head. Now, like a few of the other music video kind of animations I've done, I'm going for like a stylized cartoonish look. Although making characters in this kind of like box modeling format is really simple and pretty fun, eventually I want to get into more like sculpting characters. I tried following a few sculpting tutorials on YouTube, so I've attempted sculpting, but it's definitely something that I need to learn more of and will learn more of as we continue this journey here. You guys can hold me accountable to that one. But as far as the album goes, if you guys have listened to it, let me know your guys' favorite song off the album and what your overall opinion is. I think I enjoy this album a lot because it reminds me a lot of like his older music. He could have easily made like an Astroworld Part 2 pretty much, where it's just like easy hit after hit, but he kind of went a little bit more experimental, which is sick. Anyways, one detail I knew I wanted to accomplish while making this character was the tattoos on the face. I haven't tried that really before. I'm pretty new to texture painting, but I am getting a lot more confident with it, and I knew I wanted to put some of the tattoos on. It's a small detail, but I think small details like that are pretty important. I also had the ears hooked up as the same material, so some of the tattoo actually came onto the ears, but I ended up fixing that later on. Another cool thing about wanting to make these animations is I wanted to make some of the features as well for the animations, and I actually have some of the features already done from the previous ones that I made. Like I already have Cardi made, Alchemist made one of the beats, the Lost Forever beat, so when I make something for that, all I have to make is West Side Gun and have all three of them on there. There was also a few other assets that I previously made that you can actually find on this YouTube channel. Like we're going to get to it later, but the Air Forces, I was able to reuse the Air Forces that I made a long time ago. So that's one thing that's really nice about dedicating time to make certain assets is the reusable availability. And if you guys don't have the time to remake them, I do have a Gumroad up. I am working on adding more stuff to it. It just takes some time, and I just have to allocate that time to it. But I will have stuff up there, and y'all can go ahead and check it out. Next up for me was to make the hair. The particle systems for me always either work really nicely and I'm able to figure them out, or I might as well be working for NASA. Because sometimes, I don't know what it is, I just need more practice, kind of just like texture painting. I just need more practice. Sometimes stuff works really nicely, and other times it doesn't. But honestly, overall in this project, I feel like it went fairly smoothly. But at the end, I was pretty happy with the outcome. It's not exactly perfect, if I'm just being honest, but I definitely learned some new stuff, which is always a plus. I knew I wanted to use the actual hair system for this character because one thing when I made the Cardi character was I just used like a normal mesh hair, and it's fine. It got the job done. It's cool, but as I progressed, I wanted to learn the hair systems and stuff more. And honestly, it was pretty fun experimenting. I also, for the first time, really kind of tried different like layers of hair. So I went with some like shorter hair at first because I was looking at reference pictures. He has kind of, I don't even know what it's called, maybe like a bald fade or something. My hair cut lingo is not that strong, but it kind of gets more dense around the top of his braids, and there's a couple sets of braids as well. And I've never even really tried to make braids in this before. So I eventually made really basic braids, kind of like the ones I made for Cardi, but with the hair system. And honestly, it kind of looked like NBA Youngboy or NBA Scott, we could call it. But yeah, the braids just weren't really there. I was gonna just suffice with it just for now because it is what it is. But eventually, I remembered that in the asset browser, there's a bunch of like hair options like saved in there now, and there is a braid like hair system in the asset browser. So I ended up using that on top of the like little braid things that I had, and honestly, it came out pretty good. I think I forgot to record, but I did make the braids like longer, like Travis Scott's braids. But this is such a cool feature. It was so easy to use too. Just drag and drop onto like the hair, and you just there's a bunch of sliders off to the right. It was super easy to use and just fun to play with. After the hair, it was time to get our inner Ben Baller, Johnny Dang, Jacob & Co. Actually, I don't even know if Jacob & Co. makes grills, but anyways, we're making some grills. Went ahead and changed the teeth material from the white to like a silver or a platinum, and then I went ahead and used a pre-made diamond that I had and pretty much just set up a double array to fit the teeth. So one half of the grill is all, I guess, real diamonds, and then the other half is lab grown diamonds. I'm scamming. Nah, I'm just kidding. Basically, I set a mirror up and then just duplicated for the bottom grill, and now we have some diamond grills. Alright, now for the body and armature, we kind of cheesed this a little bit. This is a body I've used for a few of the different characters I have now. So we're just going to size up the head and fit it on the body, and then pair everything up to the armature. And now we have a cartoon Travis Scott. We're going to go ahead and change the outfit in a little bit. But next up, we're going to make his Takashi Murakami Utopia chain. So I went ahead and got all these basic shapes for the eyes, the nose, and the ears and mouth all set up. I was a little unsure how I was going to do the beard and the hair, but I just ended up throwing a cube with a subsurf modifier on there and just molding around the mouth until we got like a beard shape. But this was fun to make, especially because I am a fan of Takashi Murakami. I think the first time I was exposed to his work was the cover of Graduation by Kanye West. I had no idea who it was, and I think that was like one of the first times I looked up an artist, or like looked up who made the album cover for like an artist. His work is obviously like really big and hype beast stuff as well, so I've seen a lot of stuff there, and I'm just a fan of his creativity, so it was a lot of fun making this. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, I know this is a little bit random, but the last chain video I made, a lot of people asked like about GTA and like 5M. I'm gonna be completely honest, I have no idea how to convert any of this into like that kind of stuff. Something pretty basic, but it was new to me that I learned and then randomly thought to apply it here was like the curve modifier, like using a curve and then having an object follow that curve. I've done it with like cameras and with like moving objects before, but I didn't really think about it for like a chain or something like that. And this was so clutch because before I was just rotating the actual chain mesh itself, which distorted part of the mesh or like deformed part of the mesh. But with the chain modifier, with the curve modifier, the chain just follows wherever the curve goes. So I was able to just have one for each side of the necklace, which eventually made it super easy to place around my character's neck. Time for some color, and that's one thing that you're going to get plenty of in Murakami's work. So for the teeth and lips, they're kind of just a solid color, so just kind of filled that in pretty obviously, which is a normal material. And then as far as the metals, there's like two metals, either like a silver and platinum, and then like a rose gold. So a couple parts of the chain are rose gold, as well as like the crown. There's also like these pearls for like the big spheres that's surrounded by like the platinum, so I wanted to make sure I got those in as well. The eyes are just like an abundance of creative expression here. They're just a bunch of different colors and shapes turned upside down, flipped around and stuff. To some people it could be like an eyesore because it's pretty busy, but to me it's just so cool to look at because every time you look at it you focus on something different, or at least I do. I notice a different color or a different shape just hidden in there. Like every detail is there for a reason. And it's really cool to replicate. It was also good practice for texture painting. I didn't spend too much time trying to make it perfect because it is going to end up being pretty small on the character, so from a distance it looks really good. Up close it's a little bit messy, but that's okay. This piece has a lot of diamonds in it, and it's not just like one size diamond, it's a bunch of different size diamonds and intermixed. And I think like the obvious answer here is like a particle system, but I'm not very confident with the particle systems, so I ended up just placing most of the diamonds. I went through the entire beard just placing diamonds of various sizes. But by the time I finished the beard, I was like, yeah, this is not it. I really need to figure out the particle system. So for the hair, I ended up doing like a mix of both. I placed some diamonds kind of how I exactly wanted them, because that was like the one thing with the particle system. I couldn't get them exactly where I wanted them. So I just did a mix. The other thing too is my computer, my poor computer, man. with all the particle systems added, I really liked how like the hybrid kind of looked was, like where I placed some of the diamonds and I had a particle system behind it looked. I liked that look a lot, but my poor computer has a lot of particles going on there for it. So yeah, a lot of it looks good. I think some of the particle systems will have to be turned off when I do a final render, but we'll see. Overall, I'm very happy with this piece, and it was a lot of fun to make, and it's going to take my animation to the next level, just detail wise. I think that's going to conclude this video, and in the next video we'll start setting up a whole animation as well as creating another character, so stay tuned for that. But thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, please drop a like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.